Hey my glam girls, welcome back to my channel. It's Chelsea, and today I am so excited to be reviewing the new Goss, the artist collection of brushes. So I cannot wait to show you all how I've been using these brushes and just my recommendations for using them. So stay tuned for all of that in this video. But before we get into this video, I just want to say thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend some time with me. If this is your first time here, I would love for you to stick around and join the Glam Girl squad over here. And if you are a returning subscriber, well, thank you so much for coming back and for constantly supporting my channel with all of your likes and your comments. It really does mean a lot to me. So let's get into this video. So first, before we get into this video, I have to say a huge thank you to Nils, the CEO of Beautylish, for sending me these brushes. Also, thank you so much to Goss for agreeing to send me these brushes. I was not expecting this, you guys. And when I found out that I received these, when I saw these, I was just like, oh my gosh. So thank you so much for this. I was definitely very intrigued by these brushes. I did watch Goss's reveal video of the brushes and I was like, wow, those are interesting. First, let's just talk about the details of it. Let's just get right into this video. Okay, so these wood handles, I was just like, this is beautiful. I also love that there is this attachment piece that allows you to suspend the brushes in air. So let's get into some more formal details about these brushes. So Goss says, turn any look into a work of art with the artist collection from Goss. This is inspired by traditional Japanese calligraphy brushes. This set of 3 handmade makeup brushes gives you complete control over the placement and the application of your favorite powder products. These are uncut natural bristles, are hand bundled by master artisans with the perfect density and shape for effortless blending, less fallout, and an airbrush finish on the skin. These brushes are limited edition and they are made in small batches. Some other details about the brushes. So we have a large brush here, we have the medium-sized brush here, and then we have the small brush. So with the large brush, it is going to be composed of gray squirrel and Psycho goat hair. The medium brush here is going to be composed of gray squirrel hair, and then the artist small brush is also composed of gray squirrel hair. These brushes are handmade in Kumano, Japan. The wood is going to be maple wood, and it's inspired by traditional Japanese calligraphy brushes. The way that these brush hairs are formulated and put together, it's going to allow for powder products to be picked up easily and really diffuse color. So essentially, any powder product that you have, these brushes are going to work with them, and it is encouraged for you to only use them with powder products. So let's get into the demonstration. So first, I'm going to take the large powder brush and I'm going to apply my bronzer, starting with the Charlotte Tilbury bronzer. What I like to do is I like to pick up the product like so. And as you can see, there's not a lot of product on the brush, but when you go to apply it, you start to see the depositing of the product. And because they are calligraphy style brushes, when I first used these, I kind of felt a little lost. I was just like, why do I not really see much of the product? Because I was applying the product with the technique of how I normally apply my products with other brushes. So I usually will start depositing my bronzer like so, but keep in mind calligraphy. So if you've ever watched someone, do that type of art, you notice that they're going to be using motions like so. And then I saw the powder products really come to life and I was like, oh, here we go. And then I just literally fell in love. I absolutely love how beautiful powders are applied with this larger powder brush. I have been using this nonstop. So I've been using these brushes for a few days and I am so impressed by them. But look how beautiful this bronzer looks applied to the skin. And I'm here for it. This powder brush, I would say, is probably my favorite brush out of all 3 brushes. So something else that I wanted to just kind of point out from my own personal experience from it. So you've got these bristles here, and you can tell that the brush is a little tapered here, and it does come to a point. So if you want to apply, if I could say, a product in a more concentrated area, hold the brush at the tip of the brush, and then you can have a little bit more of a precise deposit of whatever you're doing. If you want it to be more diffused, you can move your hands up the ferrule and then you can apply the product more diffusely. So now I'm gonna go in with the Divine Rose 2 palette, and I'm gonna take Naked Blush, so this shadow right here, and I'm gonna use it as my blush today. So just taking same brush, the large artist brush, dipping it into my blush, and once again, going with the strokes. So initially I pat it because that's honestly how I apply my brush out of habit, but it's, in my opinion, and from my experience of using these brushes, it is better for you to get a better application sweeping it across the cheeks. I mean, you can pounce, you can do that, but for me, I've gotten better payoff of the color, and then just blending it in this way, I just feel that the product blends in so much better sweeping it across the face like so. And I feel like I can almost blend in the product a little faster this way as well. Now, I do remember from watching Wayne Goss's video, you can, of course, apply products like so, but I don't know. I just have really been enjoying applying the product this way. So for highlight today, I'm gonna go in with the Fenty highlighter in Hustler Baby, going in with the medium brush. And another thing that I like about these brushes is that when I dip my brush into the powder, I feel like I do not pick up a ton of product because the bristles pick up just enough product, but they don't pick up an excessive amount of product. So I'm going to hold the ferrule towards the bottom so that I can precisely place this highlighter where I want it. And then when I get up here above my brow, I am going to apply a little bit more pressure so I can diffuse the highlighter accordingly. But is this, I mean, it literally feels like I'm painting my face, and I really enjoy that. I mean, these bristles are so soft, and they really do help you to place the product where you want it. Onto the smaller brush. So this smaller brush, I actually have been using this for highlighter as well, for an even more precise application of it. But today I want to show you how I use this brush for eyeshadow, because I remember Wayne Goss saying that, and I was like, I'm intrigued, because looking at it, especially for my eyes are smaller. I don't have a ton of lid space. So I was just kind of like, would this work for my eyes? Would this be too big? But let me just show you. So I'm gonna bring you in so we can see the detailing work of this brush just a little bit better. So I use the Kaleidos eye primer to prime my eyes. So I'm going in with my Pat McGrath Midnight Sun palette and going in with this shade right here with the small artistry brush. I'm swirling the brush in the shadow, and then because I want it to be a more diffused type of application of this one, because this is gonna be for my transition, gonna hold the brush closer along the ferrule and just apply it like so. And as you can see, because this particular brush is very tapered, has a very specific pointed end, you can diffuse the application of the powder, or I can apply it directly into my crease. Do you guys see that? And I just think this makes this brush so versatile for the eye. So now going into Pat McGrath Divine Rose 2, going in with Naked Blush. I want to actually add that color into my crease. So same brush, obviously, swirling my brush into it, but concentrating the color on the tip of the small brush. And that way I can deposit that color directly into the crease. And I'm so happy to know that this brush actually does work for smaller eyes like mine, because I was like, well, of course, if you have larger lid space, this brush is going to work for your eyes. But I really did not think this brush would work for my eyes. So I'm happy to know that it does. and I can use it for eyeshadow. And if you look, get up a little closer, you can see that I've got the eyeshadow directly placed exactly where I want it to be. And then, of course, I can blend it out with just a little bit more pressure if I didn't want that line to be as evident. I am really, really impressed by these brushes. Now going into Rose Seduction from Pat McGrath's Divine Rose 2 palette. And I am now placing that eyeshadow along the horizontal portion of the artistry brush to see how we can apply shimmer with this brush on the eye. So I'm going to use swiping motions. And yes, we can. I am having to apply a little bit more pressure. So holding the brush closer along the ferrule so that I can apply the shadow, but I am applying, it is applying. Now, would I use this ideally for a shimmer? Probably not, simply because a lot of times I want my shimmers to pop. But if I were going for a wash of a shimmer like this, I would. And especially if I'm like doing my makeup in a rush and I'm just like, okay, I just want to add a little look to the eye. I don't want anything too intense, anything like too prominent. This brush can really do a full eye look. And when Wayne Goss said it, I was just like, really? But he's right. You really can do a full eye look with this brush. I'm gonna go in with Extreme Mahogany from the same palette, same brush. And we're going to use that along the lower lash line on the outer portion of the eye. And what I like about this brush, once again, because of the very tapered point, I can really diffuse a darker eyeshadow along the lower lash line. And if you're someone who's afraid of color or you don't want things to be too intense, this brush is not going to deliver that, and it's going to help you to apply it very diffusely so you can get that color. You can kind of get a little bit of a smoky effect with it, but you're not going to get anything too harsh that's going to be hard to correct. If you apply too much, it gets too dark too quickly and it's like, whoa, I wasn't going for that. This type of brush is not going to do that for you. It's going to just diffuse the product out so beautifully and not overwhelm the eye if that's not what you're going for. So I'm going to finish off the eye look and then I will come back and share with you my final thoughts on these brushes. So my final thoughts on these brushes, I love these brushes. I can already tell you that they will be in my normal routine simply because they really do apply products so beautifully and so effortlessly. I think that word really describes the application of products. I love how when I apply, especially if I apply products in this type of motion, I am also blending the product and applying it at the same time, which in my opinion makes the application of products faster because I really don't have to go back in and blend in a blush or a bronzer. If I apply it like this, I'm blending it, it's applied, and then I can just move on to the next product. I also love how each one of these brushes is multi-use. So like you saw me do today, I used it for blush, I used it for bronzer. I could also use it to set my under eye if I wanted to. I could also use it to buff the rest of my face if I wanted to. There's so many ways I can use this large brush. For the medium brush, you saw me today use it for highlight, but depending on what type of blush application I want, I could target it right here if I wanted to. Gorgeous. And then for the small brush, I think this one is extremely versatile because we saw me use it today for eyeshadow. I usually use this one for highlighter because I like to specifically put my highlighter places. I could use this also to contour down my nose, and I've done that before too. Just taking a little bit and just carving out the nose here. These brushes really are an artist collection. If you are a makeup artist, I definitely think these could be really great additions to your kit. But also if you are just the everyday makeup wearer and you just love good quality brushes that you can get a lot of use out of them, these brushes I really do feel are a really good set of brushes to invest your money in. Now, some things that I've noticed with using these brushes, the powders that you use, I feel need to be nice and silky. So for instance, when I first got these brushes, I wanted to go in with this blush from my Tom Ford Blush Duo, and I went in to, rub my brush in it. Didn't see too much product on it, but just went to go and apply it, and I really didn't get a lot of payoff from this blush color. And this powder is really pressed into the pan, so it's not a silky powder, it's not a loose powder or anything like that. So I got product to pick up, but I definitely had to like dip my brush back in to really get the color that I wanted. So I feel like for these brushes, it's best to use loosely pressed powders, or powders that are just not firmly pressed into the pan, that would make it really hard to get the product out. Because as you can see, and you saw when I was applying products to the face, these bristles are so fine and soft that they're going to be used best with a looser powder, one that you're not having to really dig your brush in to get product off onto the brush as well. And like I said, with the way that these brushes apply product, they're going to apply them diffusely. So it does make sense that you're not going to be able to necessarily use them at their best with a really pressed, densely pressed powder product. Outside of that, I think these brushes are phenomenal. I just I'm really shocked by them, and I'm really glad that I have them, that I have the opportunity to share them with you all. And I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I'm loving the look that I was able to create with these brushes, and I really do highly recommend them. So if you are interested in them, definitely check them out, because they are truly amazing brushes. Wayne Goss, I think you did an amazing job creating these brushes. And yeah, guys, that is it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know if you have any other questions down below that I did not answer for you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I really hope to see you in my very next video. Bye, guys.